I want to be that for you. And that is so weird because this is a thriller. Am I really supposed to feel those kind of things for my main character? Because I just did. Oh my god, this is so different from what I'm used to. Hello, I am the person again that you see on this platform every single video. Of course, who else? I don't know. Today I will be talking about the books that I have read last April. So let's get right to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the second, third, and fourth book of the Percy Jackson series. If you don't know this series, the Percy Jackson series, I'll just give you a very short description that can still intrigue you enough. This is a middle grade fantasy series that revolves around Greek mythology. If you're still not intrigued by that, then whatever, it's your opinion anyway, right? It's your entitlement. I'm not gonna dive too much into this because I'm not gonna give you spoilers, but I gave Sea of Monsters 5 stars and these two 4 stars. I don't really have a strong opinion or the reason why. It's just the experience, my emotions, that I really gave this 5 stars and this one's 4. I guess because these kind of lacked something for me. They kind of felt like bridges to the next book or some sort, which is okay, no problem. They're still 4 stars. That's still a very great rating anyway. So, and the next book I read was the third book, or the Wide Window by Lemony Snicket, which is part of the series of Unfortunate Events. So I read The Reptile Room, the second book, last year, April as well, which is odd. I finished it on a beach that we went to, my classmates and I, me and my friends went to. That's correct sentence in English grammar. And only now I got myself to continue the series. I don't know why I put it off. Maybe because it's so short, and I say to myself, oh, I'll just read it another time. It's just short. It's just one sitting anyway. So here it is. Anyway, I gave this book 4 stars. Still very enjoyable. Emphasize on that enjoyable. Unfortunate Events. If you don't know what this is about, this is a series about 3 orphans who in the beginning, of course, lost their parents, so they're now orphans. And there is this guy named Count Olaf who is after their great fortune because their family used to be rich. Every time these orphans get adopted by all kinds of weird people, things happen because of Count Olaf, most likely. Bad things happen, bad luck. And we just follow them in that journey to see if they ever get that happy ending, like most children's books, I guess. And I really like this story. It's so weird, so whack, so odd, so playful. Yeah, it's a fun time. The next book I read was actually a manga, Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Voices in the Dark by Junji Ito. I'm sorry if I do not know how to pronounce his name, but yeah, this is a collection of short horror supernatural stories. Each volume has like 6 to 7 short stories. Let me tell you already that actually these stories did not really terrify me or scare me, because I think the illustrator and the author himself was pointing more on the shock factor in regards to really scaring you, instead of doing the ideal of making you feel uncomfortable, which is what I'm aiming for. For me, that is like the goal of horror, that makes you freaking uncomfortable of what you're reading because it really touches your inner self. That's just This is a whole different kind of scare right there. The stories that he wrote were so interesting, so odd, so weird, so very out of the ordinary. You can't even think about that. Where did those ideas even come from? My favorite story from the two volumes were glycerate, whatever. It has glyceride. That was from, I think, the first volume, which I preferred from the second. And that story was just like so weird. I can't even. You just really have to read it for yourself to really understand what I'm talking about, because they're like so freaking weird. The illustrations are quite beautiful, very detailed, I have to say. The next book I read was Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This book warmed my heart so much, so deeply. I just love this book so much. This book crept in to my favorites list. Gave this book, of course, 5 stars. I mean, this story is about a girl who is in an all-girls school. There's like this couple in their school that lasted so long, I guess, and then abruptly they break up. Our main character gets involved with one of them, and we just actually see the growth of their friendship. And there's also this other guy in the story that's so whack and weird. Basically, it's quite a typical story, and yet it is also not, because it's so beautiful. You just have to read it for yourself, honestly, to really fully describe it, because it's quite a cliche it's quite a cliche if you hear it from me. I did not know that there was some queerness in this book when I went into it. And let me tell you, I was shook, so pleasantly shook. And it just made me really happy, okay? Hello, this is Editor Elea from the future. I just realized that I did not tell you why I loved the book. I just showed you my reaction and all that. So to put it short, I loved how the friendship was showcased in the book. The story is basically very simple, but at the same time it gives you very complex things to think about and very complex emotions, which I love. Usually, I love thinking about somebody else's problems, you know? Yeah. Hi. I also loved how it talked about your identity as a person who's still growing up in life. Yeah, I love the book, okay? Read it. Read it. Read it. Okay. Let me tell you first what it's about, okay? Because I'm not sure if I'm ready to freaking talk about this. This is a mystery thriller, and we follow a woman who is agoraphobic. She cannot go out of her house, and in the neighborhood that she lives in, new neighbors come to live next door or somewhere near her own residency, and things happen after that happens. I know I'm quite new to the thriller genre. So many things shocked me in this book. I never saw those things coming, okay? And I really recommend it for that. But the plot twist in the end, that was the point where I wanted to give this book 5 stars, and then I turned it down to the 3.5. Yeah, that is how much I did not like that plot twist at all. The thing is, I was also shocked by that plot twist, but I did not like how it was executed or the plot twist itself. I really thought it had more potential than going down that kind of road. It's weird that for a fresh fresh thriller reader, I feel like that kind of plot twist is also kind of familiar. It felt overdone, but nevertheless, I really loved how the author created this story, how interesting it was, and how gripping it was actually, because the chapters were so short, so it really makes you want to continue reading chapter after chapter after chapter. And I love the main character because it was so funny. Like, it's so witty in regards to her personality, and I stan that so much. I think it's still a great read for people new to the genre like myself, and nevertheless it's mostly based on your personal tastes, which everybody has their own.
Hello again. This is, the editor Elia. In the next clips, you might kind of sense that I am wearing a different shirt and I have a different hairstyle and all that, different whatever. Well, apparently while I was filming, I bailed. I bailed on a video. You're welcome. So I continued this video the next day. That's why everything looks kind of different, or a little bit different. So okay. Back to the show.
Because The Woman in the Window gave me such a hype in regards to thrillers, I read The Death of Mrs Westaway by Ruth Ware. This is about a girl who is alone in her world. She has no family anymore at all. Well, that's what she knows. She has all these debts, but one day there's this letter that arrives at her doorstep saying that she has a hidden fortune from her family that she is going to inherit, I believe, or at least get some of that fortune. Well, of course, our main character is baffled that this must be a mistake because her mother never told her anything about their family's fortune or whatever that has to do with riches. That's all I want to tell you, honestly. Let me tell you that this is actually one of those books where I literally, when I finished it, I wanted to read it again from back to front for several reasons. Like, reasons because I wanted to see if I could pick up some foreshadowing or foreshadows that the author may have written that I missed. And another one is to experience again being in the head of our main character, because I adored her so much. I have this kind of personal attachment to her now. I don't know how that happened, but I just do. She just has this miserable life. I feel so sympathetic for her, and there were like points when I was reading this book like, I want to be your friend. I want to be that for you. And that is so weird because this is a thriller. Am I really supposed to feel those kind of things for my main character? Because I just did, and I still do, very much. And in regards to the plot twists, I thought that they were very well done. They were not like the kind of plot twist that, okay, here's your plot twist, deal with it now. It did not feel like that. Okay, so happy. Plot twist really flowed properly in regards to the knowledge that the author was telling you before. So it's like everything came up together perfectly. That's how I felt. And I think that was a very enjoyable experience, but in the same time super devastating. I gave this only 4 stars because I haven't really felt like this gut feeling in me to give it like 5 stars. I think there was something missing. Like, I wanted to have more things explained instead of just this explanation and then moving on to this and then you suddenly get this. And no, I just really wanted to pause and take a look at things properly. I conclude that even though this is a thriller, I thought this was still quite a beautiful book to read. It just, when you finished it, it's like you can breathe again. Somehow. It was so satisfying. And I wanted to read it again at the same time. So, the next book I read was Colorless, Tsukuro Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage by Haruki Murakami. I am so sad about this book, okay? This is a situation where the book is not the problem, but the reader, which is me, because I gave this book 2.5 stars. And for me, that's personally low. This book is about a guy who rediscovers his past with his high school friends who at one point suddenly cuts him off out of the blue. Just cuts him off like that. Just like, don't talk to us anymore. Don't ever talk to us anymore. That's it. No explanation, nothing. And it was on the phone. He was very close to that group of friends. So that cut off that they did to him created a very large impact to his life. So we just follow him, uncover the truth. And basically you really just find out the truth by at least the middle of the book. This is okay, I guess. Well, first things first, I had high expectations from this, which is already my first mistake. Secondly, in regards to the lessons that this book was trying to tell me, I think there were lessons that was trying to tell me, I let it fly over my head. Literally and figuratively. I think this book really has a very important message that I wasn't able to discover behind or through the words. And I think I need to read this book again in a different time of my life, and probably I would understand it better, appreciate it more, because I really think so. I really don't think that Haruki Murakami would do this to me. As of now, what I think about it, I felt underwhelmed in regards to the things that have taken place and the things that happened. I hope to read this book again and hopefully like it. So thank you for reaching this far. I hope you are staying safe indoors and that you are still making yourself happy, because that is important. Yeah, I am Sakina Vanessa, and I'll see you in the next video. The next video. Yes.